Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're hosting a travel talk on our Mexico retreat upcoming with Lee. And my name is Andrea. I'm the trip lead with Traverse Journeys, and I have Lee here. Lee, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Hey, good morning. My name is Lee. I own Lee Pilates Method, and I have done this retreat twice. This will be my third time. I have my own Pilates business. I've been in the industry of teaching movement in Pilates for over 30 years now. So, and I've been partnering with Traverse for the last couple of years, and know the owner for many years. So I'm very excited, and I see one of my folks, Anne Marie. So I'm waving at you, Anne Marie. And yeah, so that's who I am, and looking forward to a fabulous trip in October.
Thank you. Before we dive into the trip details, I want to tell you a little bit about us. Traverse Journeys is a tour operator, and we run trips in 25 different international countries. All of our trips have a focus on our ethos, which is people, planet, purpose. People is about the interactions, the conversations, and our impact on trips. We aim to keep money in the local economies to have a positive, transformative experience, not only just for you as the traveler, but also for the people that you will encounter and the communities you'll interact with when you travel to one of our destinations. Planet is about minimizing our carbon footprint, leaving no trace, minimizing the use of plastics and waste production. Those are the types of things that we look for when we plan a trip to a destination. And purpose is about giving things meaning. For every trip, we partner with a nonprofit local community partner. And those partners are doing impactful work for the community, and they truly create transformative experiences for you as the traveler and the places you'll be visiting. And we want to pay those places respect. So let's take a trip to Mexico. We are going to be in the Guanajuato region of Mexico, which is pretty much directly in the center of Mexico as a country. And here's a map I detailing our driving itinerary. So we will fly into Leon, which is the BJX is the airport code. And we'll drive down through Guanajuato and then end up in San Miguel de Allende. That's where our treat is taking place, and we have a beautiful villa that we stay in. Um, to give you a snapshot of Mexico, the capital is Mexico City with a population of 128 million people. The main language spoken there is Spanish, and you'll have some indigenous influences. So you might hear a couple other types of dialects and language spoken. The religion is Roman Catholic, so a good portion, 82%. And the government is a federal republic, and the currency there is the Mexican peso. The culture and values in Mexico are a community-based, relationship-based culture, thinking about we versus me. The people in Mexico are very welcoming and warm and love having relationships with people. You'll see a lot of traditions and religion influences throughout their culture and values. And there is a thing of the mañana syndrome, mañana meaning tomorrow in Spanish. So this is just about, things that aren't super important right now in the moment can be put off for tomorrow. So there's no urgency or rushing to get to things in the present moment. They're all about being in the relationship moment with you and really feeling that community vibe. The history in Mexico is really rich with 10,000 years of history. A lot of the ancient civilizations of the Olmecs, the Mayans, the Toltecs, the Aztecs are all influenced here, and you'll see that in the the architecture and the art in Mexico. In the 16th century, the Spanish conquested Mexico, and they didn't gain their independence until 1821 after the Mexican Civil War, which was known as the Grito de Dolores, which is the cry of Dolores translated in English, or it's also known as Independence of Dolores. You might hear something like that as well. But Mexico is an independent country now. And here's some of the cultural influences that you can see becoming culminating there in Mexico. San Miguel de Allende. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I practiced my pronunciation, but this is where we will be. And you can see that there's a lot of architecture off to the left that's very beautiful, and a lot of vibrant colors in the streets, a lot of the culture over here. We're going to be there in October, which will be really close to Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. The big celebrations will be happening about a week after we're there. But you might see a little pre-celebrations happening, so you might get to see some of that. But yeah, you'll see a lot of colorful streets. You can buy snacks at the local markets and a lot of art influence, so that you'll see a lot of street murals and art galleries with pottery and painting and sculptures and great Spanish architecture. And you can sit at a nice cafe or a restaurant for lunch or dinner. So our retreat, the style will be active retreat style with a lot of R&R, rest and relaxation time, time to explore, time to relax, and we'll make time to do Pilates. Pilates is optional, but we highly encourage you to do Pilates with us. The culinary focus will be quite prominent on our trip. We'll have a market visit and a cooking class, and then we'll also have a tamale making workshop, and I'll talk more about those later on. And we'll visit a farm tour. There's also an option for a Guanajuato day trip. At the closing, we'll visit a swimming cave. So here are some photos of Lee's Pilates classes in Mexico, and I'll let Lee talk a little bit more about what to expect.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Yeah, so we normally wake up in the mornings, we all arrive, and the evening that the first day of the retreat, when everyone is arriving, we have a dinner that evening and introduce ourselves and where we're from. The food is amazing, by the way, absolutely amazing, very fresh, locally sourced. And the folks who own this casa where we're staying have the farm that we'll be visiting, and it is an organic farm, and all the food is sourced from there, or most of it, and it is unbelievably good. So after meeting that evening and gathering and getting to know each other a little bit and where we're from, we start the next morning with Pilates. And Pilates is scheduled every morning. You're going to get lots of detailed information from Traverse about the trip. They're very thorough. And we start every morning with Pilates. And mostly everyone shows up and does Pilates with us. But if you're tired and you've had a busy day prior to, or maybe a extra fun evening and you don't want to, that's perfectly fine as well. But it's a great way to start. We don't go super hard and crazy. I always am addressing mixed groups. And I do have a few folks that I think will be coming on this retreat. So I'll know how they move and what their bodies are like and what they can do. So I'm always showing modifications and options so everyone is safe. But we start with Pilates each day. Sometimes in the evenings, if there's time or it's available for us, we'll wind down with maybe some breath work or some neural work and or just some quiet stretching and calming down from the day, some mindfulness. But mornings are our Pilates time, and it's a great way to start our day. And it's in this beautiful environment that's on the deck of the casa, which is a very kind of a holy spiritual looking place and really inviting for movement. yeah, and the mats are provided. We get started, and so we stay nice and warm because it's cool there in the mornings. But it's a great way to start the day. So I'll leave it there for now, in case there's any questions. Okay, so yeah, so here is, this is part of my brand. This is on my website, leepilates.com. I have been, again, working in the space of movement for my entire career, first as a classically trained ballet dancer and professional ballerina, then segued that background and my degree into the fitness industry and have been in the fitness industry for the extent of my career other than dance. And we will be doing mat Pilates. I have a full studio, which is my private practice, and do work with extensively with equipment, but we'll be doing mat Pilates and some toning at the retreat. So yeah, you can visit my site and get a little more information about who I am, but I'm good. You can move on, Andrea. All good.
Sorry, my trigger finger was going
Not
there.
a problem.
And then these are some photos of our opening and closing workshops. The woman that owns the Via over here is Maria. Um, so we hope that she will join us again to open us up for the week, and then we'll have a closing ceremony as well at the end of the retreat. Here are some photos of our accommodations. You can see that the rooms are quite spacious. We stay in a private villa, so we have the place all to ourselves. We have access to use the kitchen and the living space that you'll see down here on the bottom. It's kind of like a very welcome home, you're at home at someone's home kind of feel, so it's very relaxed and comfortable. You have the option to book single occupancy. If you don't take that option to have your own room, you will be paired with a roommate of the same gender. You can see this room over here on the right is set up as double occupancy, so you'll have your own beds and you'll share a bathroom with your roommate.
Andrea, could I add something about the
Oh
hotel?
yeah, go ahead.
So the hotel is actually a home of the hosts or the owners of this villa, and they have been building it for almost and adding and iterating it for now almost 30 years. And it's absolutely magical. And the story about how it began is a fun story. And hopefully I'll get Rosanna to tell us again, but I can share it for those who gather at dinner one night. But it's an incredibly magical place. And every room is filled with art and mystery and adventure. And you could just literally sit in the hotel all day and not see the same two things. So it's a big part of the experience is their home and how it has evolved and how gracious it is. And the food, as I said, I see the next one is a gathering around the table, so I'll let Andrea take over, but the food is unbelievable.
Thank you, Lee. So we'll have a lot of seasonal and local fare, lots of fruits and veggies, a lot of fresh food, chilies and spices and herbs and flavors. You'll see a lot in the cuisine here. A lot of dishes are corn-based using fresh corn. We do have options for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarian is also available, and gluten-free options. So we definitely have a lot of diversity available, depending on your dietary needs. And we will also visit, so some of the places we're going to visit are a farm visit, and we'll learn about the ecological, cultural, and medical importance of this farm, sustainable agriculture within the region, and that impact on the local economy and ecotourism. Some of the crops that you'll see growing are corn and amaranth, squash and beans. Chilies are very prominent in this area, herbs and spices, and we'll learn a little bit more about seed saving and the importance in this region. The cooking class is going to be a truly memorable experience. We'll visit a market. You'll learn about the ingredients. You'll have very hands-on learning techniques. And at the end of the cooking class, you'll enjoy a big feast. And at the end, you can take the recipes home so that you can use them in your own homes. Tamale making is another workshop that we will be experiencing. We'll learn about traditional maize and traditional tamale making, and at the end, enjoy another feast. These are scheduled on separate days, but they're part of the meals included in the itinerary. And at the end, we'll visit the swimming caves. You can see a photo of how beautiful it is there. You'll definitely want to pack a swimsuit for this trip. And we have an optional day trip to Guanajuato. So since it's optional, you can either join us and go there, or you can stay behind in San Miguel. Some places that you can visit are museums. You can have food at the local markets, experiencing the cobblestone streets and the art and architecture there in that city. We'll have the option to see really great views of the city. And when you sign up for our trip, we have a very comprehensive welcome pack that will tell you all about what to pack. We have a very long list of what you will need based on the season and the weather with I think like the season that we're going is in October. So it's a little bit cooler, so you want to pack some layers. It's going to be warm during the day. So just having a variety of different types of clothes available for you, but we'll give you a lot more information and detail on that. Money in Mexico, the peso is the local currency, and for small purchases, you'll want to have pesos on you. There's a lot of ATMs available in the town. There's an ATM available at the airport if you would like to do that, although the rates are probably a lot better in the town than at the airport. For larger purchases, Visa is widely accepted, MasterCard as well. You can pay in US dollars for very large purchases using a credit card. We'll give you a really nice guideline about tipping and what to expect so that you can be prepared ahead of time. And we'll give you a lot of information on safety and regionality and a lot of tips for preparing and getting ready for the trip. Lee, is there anything that you want to add about traveling to Mexico?
Yes, a few things. So the trip to Guanajuato is a really incredible trip. The city is very old. Both San Miguel and Guanajuato are old, and Guanajuato is just teeming with culture. It's a very thriving city. And in San Miguel, people do excursions all the time. And when we're there, we'll be staying in the old part of the city, so you get the flavor of the culture, the sort of colonial European feel. And to go outside that, the square and that region of the center of the old city in San Miguel, people do it all the time. They'll go on excursions and look at things, but you really get the feel of the old city in San Miguel. In Guanajuato, it's very similar, but it's much larger, and it's really a teeming city. And the Diego Rivera Museum is amazing. The buildings, the culture is so vivid and alive. It does require more awareness of where you are and making sure you're not wandering down little alleys where you're a little isolated, because people do break up into groups to go do different things. And we'll talk more about that, but mindfulness. It is a tipping culture, so tipping is a big part of how these communities make their income, and that will be very clearly outlined in your
We'll
materials.
catch up later.
All right, thank you. And
Oh, sorry.
oh, okay.
Sorry.
um, and so all of that is outlined in the material you'll get from Traverse, but also the last day at the baths, the warm water, the warm caves, the pools. It's amazing. It's very relaxing, even if it's cool. And it was cool last year when we went for this day. But the warm water just heats everybody up, and it's relaxing, and it's a really lovely way to end. And otherwise, I was going to just speak a little about the weather. Both when we went in March in 2023 and October, the weather is fairly consistent. It's very cool in the mornings, cool in the evenings, and warms up during the day. So layers are advisable, but it can get quite warm. There's lots of options to buy hats out there, so you don't necessarily have to bring one, but you'd want a hat because we're out and about. And the last thing I'll say is that there are lots of things planned, but there is time for downtime. But if you're a downtime person and you want more of that, the hotel is amazing. And there's a lot of places to just, again, like Andrea said, sit in a cafe and stare at the local culture and just relax. So, yeah, so I just wanted to add those things.
Yep. And we just want to give a shout out, thanking all these photographers for contributing photos to our slideshow, Brian, Kara, Tracy, and Letty. So thank you very much for that. And let me tell you about our discount. So if you book by the end of this month, the last day of March, and use the code Mexico Live, we'll take $200 off of the trip. The trip dates are October 21st to 26th, and it's a Pilates retreat that we are running special with Lee. And we have more events coming up. So live events wise, we have an event for Italy coming up next week. And then in April, we'll be talking about Machu Picchu, and then look for Jordan coming up soon. You can register for all of these events on Eventbrite, and there'll be a link on each trip page directing you to sign up on Eventbrite. Does anyone have any questions? You can unmute yourself if you have a question. And we invite you to stay in touch with us. hello@traversejourneys.com. Make sure that's on your safe sender list. A lot of our emails come from there. And you can catch up with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Our tag is Traverse Journeys. I'll just wait a second in case someone has a question. Otherwise, thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you so much for coming. Let me know directly if you have any questions, Anne-Marie. I'll be around, as you know.
Yeah, and I will send the recording out to everyone who has registered later today. And if you have a question, you can respond back there. And if it's a Lee specific question and you don't have her contact info, I will happily forward it along to her.
Thank you.
Thank you.